You know that feeling when you're so good at your job that everything just flows? When you show up, you shine, and the team loves you. I had that once. I was surrounded by kind, smart, and caring people in a workplace that actually valued what I brought. I felt supported. I thought if I could just keep on showing up just like this, life would take care of itself. But here's what no one tells you. Being good at your job and actually owning what you build are two completely different things. You can be excellent, beloved even, and still walk away with nothing but exhaustion and a resume. So here's what I learned the hard way and what I'm about to show you. How to take that expertise that you've been pouring into someone else's dream and pair it with what the world actually needs and will pay for you. Not in a grinding hustle culture type of way, because we're not about that here. In a joyful, sustainable way that you can actually own because you've worked hard enough. Now's the time to build something that works for you. But first, I'm Jerusha. Welcome to Balance Muse, where we talk about wealth, wisdom, and a greater well-being. Now let's get into it. So after experiencing that feeling of being supported and of being in flow, I wanted to challenge myself. I thought, let me see if I can thrive anywhere. So I moved to Thailand to teach. I thought that it would be an adventure, a way to prove myself that I could shine anywhere I went. But being there as an unmarried Black American woman who didn't speak the language was a special kind of vulnerability. I knew pretty quickly that I was very unhappy and I wanted to leave, but I felt guilty about it. You know that voice, the voice that you hear that says, the kids will be hurt. The kids need me. I can't just quit. So I stayed longer than I should have. And then one day, one of the children waved a box cutter in front of my face. The assistant teacher did nothing. And I realized in that moment that I was completely at the mercy of a system that wasn't designed to protect me. I was alone, and I did not go back after that day. I swore to myself that I would never put myself in a position like that again. Naisha Nicole, she's another YouTube creator, and she just released a video on her channel that was talking about the real reason that nursing got downgraded. And she breaks down how care work professionals are systematically being devalued and reclassified as non-professional. If you haven't watched it yet, please do. She explains the problem beautifully. But I want to show you what I'm going to do about it. So I'm showing you how I went from building for others to building something where I'm supported by design and not just luck. So here is what is a concept that I have read about. It's a Japanese concept, and it's called Ikigai. The meaning of Ikigai is having a purpose in life. So as you can see at the top of the circle, or the top circle, it says what you love. And then right next to it on the one side it says what the world needs. And that's kind of in the pink type of circle. Below that, there's a blue circle that says what you can be paid for. And the green circle is what you're good at. So as you can see, they all interconnect together, and in the middle is what is your personal Ikigai. So this is a wonderful concept, and I love that it combines all of them together. So what we often have, especially when it comes to the world of professional work, the part is what you're good at and paired with what you can be paid for. Those two things are the skills that are on your resume. You're already being paid or have been paid in the past for what you're good at. These are your skills. These are not necessarily skills that you love to do, but you can do them well enough to be paid for them. What people often do when they're building on YouTube or they're creating videos as a content creator, they focus on what they love. And yes, this is a very good starting point, especially if you want to consider your niche. But what you love may not be what they pay for or what they can be paid for. And even if you love it, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're good at it. You can practice, and you're more likely to practice if you already love it, but you may not be paid for it. And often that's an issue because you're conflicted on what you want to talk about, what you love, and what people will actually pay to learn about or to see. On the other side is what the world needs. Now, these are where caregivers usually get into a lot of trouble or they lack their boundaries. They see that there are infinite problems in the world. They see where they can help support those people for what the world needs. There are children that need caring for. There are elders that are needing care. But child carers or elder care members or nurses or teachers, they are often underpaid. They can be paid for it, but the world, unfortunately, especially the world of economics and finance, does not value this type of work. It does not value it in the way that it should be valued, and it's not what they pay for. How do we do what the world will need and what they can be paid for? That is the profession. And the professions are usually, the higher paid ones are usually in tech or in finance or in business. These are also, which is interestingly enough, the highest paid of niches. So anytime you have content creators that make a lot of or a decent amount of money, even if they may not have a lot of videos, these are things that a great many deal of people want to pay for, and what people will pay ads to see or see information on. So I was trying to think of what does the world need? There's a reason why I chose my particular niche of wealth creation and of personal finance. One, because I already like to talk about it, but two, it's definitely what they will pay for on this platform. It is one of the highest paid niches that you can get into. And secondly, the other niche that does very well is also tech. I already love it, but I understand that there are other people that don't necessarily love it, or they're just not necessarily good at it. So I thought, okay, what the world needs, especially as we move into a world being used with AI, people need a lot of support on that transition. So it's not just the people who are regular everyday people who are working regular jobs that are being taken over by AI. I have recently read many reports where even tech individuals, developers, are having trouble transitioning to this world because they're seeing that AI is doing the code for them. And they are feeling misplaced, and also that they're kind of useless, which is a sad feeling. If you are so used to being in a specialized field that's higher paid, and now you're not even doing the work that AI is now doing, you begin to say, well, what is my purpose in life? You have a sense of meaninglessness. So this is where I see that where the caregivers, what the world needs, can actually be of service and can see a gap where people need help making this transition. So if they're going to pay for finance and tech, maybe it might be where the caregivers, the nurses, the therapists, the social workers, the people who are used to caring for others, be that bridge for the people who work in tech, for the people who work in finance, who are also going to be struggling as a human to adjust to this paradigm. I'm thinking, this is a wonderful thing. They can even find new professions and businesses. They can practice their skills of what they already know how to do and what they're paid for. But I thought that the main thing that we need to focus on, or the way that I like to look at it, is joy, what you love. How do we get what you love into this whole little circle? And so what I did was I created a new framework, which I call the joy-centered Ikigai. So as you can see right here on the slide, in the middle, it says joy, what you love. That is the biggest circle, and that's why I put it in the middle. You take that joy and you take AI amplified passions and interests. So if you already love a thing, you take those skills, and not just any skills. So these are the skills that you find on your resume, and you do the skills that you love to do. If you're building a business that you want to be sustainable, you take the skills from the resume that you love, that you do often, that you do it willingly, that it's easy for you to do, and you pair it with your passion and your interest. Okay? That will be the expertise that people pay for. So if you see that little purplish color circle at the bottom, that is your expertise. Taking the skills that you love and you joyfully do them, that's what people pay for because it was on your resume. People have already paid for them. There's proof of concept. And then the next thing that we already covered that the market will need is the transition. Everyone will need to transition to a world where AI is taking over many of the jobs that you could do, but you didn't love doing them. So AI is going to be taking on more of the work that you do not have strengths in, so that you can focus on where you can be a leader. That is the framework that I'm setting up for my business, and what I would encourage you to look at yourself. So, go ahead and save this slide. But this is the type of framework that I'm setting up for myself as a sustainable way to build a business based in content creation. So the first thing that I learned is that if I want to build a business, I have to build on joy first. When I first started thinking about what kind of businesses I wanted to create, I didn't start with what was necessarily practical or what would make the most money right away. I started with what I actually loved doing. For me, that was combining my interest in travel and technology. And here's the thing, when you pursue what genuinely lights you up and you pair it with AI tools, building a business becomes so much easier. Not necessarily easy, but easier. Even jobs in fields that I love, like when I was in fashion forecasting, it used to feel impossible to break into without the right connections. I also needed to specialize in a particular city because I can't be in all places at once. But now with AI, I can research trends, I can create content, I can build business plans, and I can test ideas faster than ever before. The tools are here and the access is here. And what matters now is starting with what brings you joy, because that's what you'll stick with when things get hard. The second thing that I had to learn was how to honor my boundaries. If I had known this and honored my boundaries when I was teaching, I don't believe that I would have ended up with the health problems that eventually led to me leaving the teaching field. My doctor told me that my cortisol levels were so completely out of whack and that it was affecting my hormones, so that when she asked me what I did for a living and I said, teacher, she just raised her eyebrows at me and she said, well, that'll do it. I had given up so much of myself that my body was breaking down and I wasn't listening to it. And I know I'm not alone in this. So many of us that are in the care work, we're in education, we're in support roles, we've been taught that boundaries are selfish. But here's the truth. If honoring boundaries had been modeled for me properly, if I had seen what it looked like in action, then I wouldn't have ended up burned out and depleted. You have to build a life and a career that is sustainable for you. They didn't teach us this in school. You have to start investing earlier so you can have more income and income streams that support you while you rest. So now, as I'm building my business, I have to consider where I want to invest my time, and my boundaries aren't optional anymore. They're foundational. And if that means that I have to build slower, or it means that I can only build a smaller business, that's okay. I'm building something sustainable this time. And here's the third thing. And this, to me, I think is going to be the game changer going forward, especially for care workers. Let AI support you. For years, I've spent so much time supporting other people, and often with unpaid emotional labor. Now, you know what I'm talking about with that. I loved my coworkers. I loved that my students needed me and that I did the work, but I was exhausted. Now AI helps me transition as gracefully as possible into a new life that's joyful, fulfilling, and paid. I actually built my first app ever using Google Gemini AI. And I'm not a developer, and yet I use the tool to help people like me get customized business ideas that combine what we already love, what we're already good at, and what we actually want to do for the world. Here's how it works. You upload a PDF of your resume, making sure that you remove all your personal information, of course. And then the AI analyzes all of your transferable high-value skills. Then you enter one personal interest, just one, and the AI agent comes up with 3 future-proof business ideas that combine your high-value skills with what you love. Use these tools that help you see the possibilities that you might not have seen on your own. You have spent years supporting everyone else. To my queens out there, please, please take the time to reclaim your rest. Reclaim your throne. Get to your place of ease. Let AI help you so that you can have the life you so richly deserve. So here's the shift we just made together. We went from I'm good at my job, but I'm exhausted and undervalued, to I can take what I love, honor my boundaries, and use AI to build something that actually supports me. That's the Ikigai pivot. If you want to hear more about my framework for refilling your cup in a world that keeps asking you to pour from an empty vessel, then check out my video here. It's all about protecting your peace while you build. And if you sign up for my newsletter at balancemuse.com, you'll get access to the Balance Blueprint app that I just built. The link is in the description below. If you made it this far, thank you for tuning in, and let me know in the comments. What's your joy-filled plan to pivot? Until next time, take care.